Stop there. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ted Rollins. Glad to have you along with us in for Julie Grant this morning. We are kicking off the hour in the state of Mississippi, where testimony is set to resume at 10 o'clock Eastern Time in the case against a father and a son who are on trial for the attempted murder of a FedEx driver. The defendants in this case, Brandon and Gregory Case, are facing multiple charges after allegedly shooting D'Monterrio Gibson, and a uniformed delivery man is wearing his FedEx uniform back in January of 2022. It's a case that's drawing parallels to the Ahmaud Arbery case in Georgia. The trial began earlier this week. Verdict could be as soon as tomorrow. It's moving along very quickly. As we wait for court to resume, let's go back and look at each side's opening statement, what they said to this jury out of the gates.
As the judge said, we'll be brief today. Tomorrow, I anticipate the state of Mississippi will prove, and beyond reasonable doubt, that the victim, D'Monterrio Gibson, was working approximately 6 months for FedEx, and he was driving on January the 24th, 2022, a van, a 2021 van that had hurts on it. And as he was driving on Junior Trail where the defendants live, he was trying to find the address 417 and mistakenly put in 427. So as he went by the residence, he realized there was a mailbox there. So he went to the residence that he thought was 417 to drop off a package. And that's what he did. He was in a Hertz van in 2021, had Hertz on all three sides. He goes, places the package, goes back to the vehicle and is about to leave, gets in the vehicle and is leaving on a light truck that will later be identified as being driven by Gregory Case, begins blowing his horn and tries to block him in. Mr. Gibson becomes afraid. He's a dead-end road. He goes around it. He will also testify, but he sees Brandon Case coming down the road, flagging him down, holding a gun, trying to stop him while Mr. Gregory Case is in a white pickup truck behind him. D'Monterrio's going to say, I'm not going to stop. Got packages. I go around Brandon Case and shots are fired. And you'll hear testimony from Greg Nestor that 3 of those rounds hit the back of that Hertz van. And at least one projectile was recovered that went into a number of those boxes.
Thank you. 10 of the panel to you, Mr. Stubbs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another opportunity we get to talk to you directly. In this case, we don't get to ask you questions on this, but we're just going to talk a little bit about what the case is going to be about. I would disagree a good deal with what Mr. Bates has said about this case. As I've said, Mr. Gibson was working for FedEx. He was in a rental van. No one has been told, remember, in the community that, hey, they're rental van delivering FedEx packages. So when Mr. Case, Greg Case, and his wife see this van pull up in the driveway on Junior Trail in Brookhaven, they begin to wonder what's going on. They see the lights at Mr. Greg Case's mother-in-law's house, which was nobody there, nobody living there. And then Brandon lives on down as you come in, the first trailer or house on the left as you come in on Junior Trail. So they see the lights in the yard of Mr. Greg Case's mother-in-law's house, unoccupied. And so Mr. Greg Case decides he's going to go down and check on it and see what's going on. So he gets in his truck and he drives down to the house, and the Hertz van takes off. Now remember, it's January 24th, 22. It is dark, completely dark. You know how it is when you get home at 5:30 in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, and you think you want to do something outside, and it's so dark at 5 or 6 o'clock, you can't even do anything because it is so dark. And so he decides, when Mr. Greg Case decides he's going to try to stop him and see what's going on. Nobody's there. What are you doing up in here? He decides he's not going to stop. And so Greg is following him and tried to cut him off, and was just going to ask him, what's going on? What are you up here in a van that's just a rental van, not any kind of delivery van? He didn't want to stop. And then he sees Brandon standing in the road, and Greg has tried to cut him off, and Brandon Case has come out of his mobile home because he's at the beginning of that drive, and he's trying to get him to stop. So he decides not stopping. And he runs and causes Brandon to have to jump in the ditch. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, it was completely dark. Completely dark. And somebody was in the wrong place. It wasn't our clients.
Mr. Kitchens.
Coming on behalf of my client, I'd like to defer my opening to our case.
All right.
Okay, there's the opening statements, very brief from both sides. Let's bring in some experts to try to decipher what they were saying. In Chicago, Illinois, criminal defense attorney and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Mata II, and in Florida, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Brian Silber. Good morning, gentlemen. Brian, your take on the opening statements in this case in Mississippi.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. Wow. I don't get the defense, to be perfectly honest. How is this a justification for using lethal force and firing a gun at somebody? He was in the wrong place. What exactly does that mean, he was in the wrong place? Turns out he was a UPS driver. I don't understand what that means, he was in the wrong place. Is his kind of person not allowed there? I just don't understand that. And then what does he mean by dark? So you're telling me you couldn't see what was going on because it was so dark. You didn't have a good target picture, but you shot a gun multiple times? I don't see how that promotes the defense. I think these guys sound guilty, to be honest. I just don't see the justification for this shooting. And it clearly was, they were totally wrong. Whatever it is they thought was not the truth. The man was just delivering a package. I don't think the opening statement by defense counsel promoted their defense. I think it hurt them.
Bob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. It seems like a very extreme response to somebody just coming on the property. I guess the one thing I kind of would have liked to have heard is, did the driver actually deliver a package? Did he just pull on down there? In terms of the confusion, I can see them being concerned if a van is coming down to a vacant home, at least in terms of the kind of compound that they have, but jumping to pulling out weapons and firing at a van that's clearly leaving, I think it's going to be an uphill case for the defense.
Brian, the idea that you're in the wrong spot where I live here, my son's over here, you got the mother-in-law. It sounds like they got a little compound there on Junior Trail in rural Mississippi. So the hairs on their back stand up when someone comes in, and they want to know what's going on. They live there. The other person is not supposed to be there in an unmarked truck. He's got a FedEx uniform on, but it's a white box truck that FedEx rented from Hertz. The law says that the person can absolutely drive a delivery truck down the street, correct? This isn't as though he's in their home. He's on their street.
So I don't know the layout of that property. Maybe he did drive up a private road. I don't know those facts or circumstances. But to use lethal force, you can't use lethal force on a trespasser who drops a package off. There has to be more. And clearly in this case, the delivery driver didn't do anything offensive. He didn't attack them. He didn't even curse them. There was no physical threat here other than his mere presence. And that is not enough to shoot at a human being. Not to mention, they shot at him multiple times. There's just no justification for this. And you know what? I think the defense would have done a better job saying, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this really came down to a major misunderstanding. And whatever happened, but we're sorry about this. There's no even apology, even after the fact where they know this man was just a delivery driver doing his job. Late at night after everyone's at home, this guy's still delivering packages, not even an apology. I think they're only alienating their jury and they're going to get convicted. I'm just not buying the defense. It was dark out, so I shot at a guy multiple times. If anything, being dark out is a reason to withhold from shooting. You need to see what you're shooting at and why you're shooting at that target. And clearly, their defense contradicts that. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it was very dark, and someone was in the wrong spot. That's the message from the opening statement down in rural Mississippi. One has to wonder.